Hey everyone, welcome back to Homegrown Passion. I'm Katy and we're standing outside the Strawberry High Tunnel, and I'm super excited today because I have these absolute monster strawberries to pick. So come on, let's go inside and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So these are the monsters I was talking about. And if you've ever wondered how to go from the field to the freezer or into your dehydrator for year-round use, I've got you covered. So let's go grab a basket and get harvesting. So this year I broke down and I bought a harvesting basket. And you know what? It's one of the best things I ever bought. It is saving me so much time and effort when I go to harvest my strawberries. And the thing rinses out really well. So I just put the little harness on. It takes a little bit to get it on, but it's like I said, still well worth it. And you snap it together. It's got these nice little hooks on each side. And the only other thing that I like to do, just because every once in a while you find a deformed strawberry or one that's not really well, I put this little measuring cup off to the side. So if I find a bad one, I stick it in here instead of all the good strawberries in the bottom. Look at the size of these. When you grow your strawberries in a climate-controlled hydroponic greenhouse like this, you get more consistent ripening, fewer pests. These berries are firm, deep red, and ripe. Perfect for what we're going to do today. So I'm going to pick enough for freezing and enough for dehydrating. Always select fruit that's firm and fully ripe. Skip any soft, damaged fruit or has green tips on the end. Because according to the home food preservation folks, freezing doesn't rescue weak berries. Start out with good berries and you end up with good berries. So I found the yucky little one, so he's going in the measuring cup. Look what I have already. This is from one row, half a side, so I have 7.5 more sides to do. So I wonder how full my basket's going to be. Well, as I was harvesting, I noticed a few things. They're not getting ripe as fast, of course, with the lower light and the cooler days. And the bottoms are getting nice and ripe, and the tops are staying a little bit white, which is fine. And I found out also the hard way, the yellow jackets are starting to eat the ripe part. So I had to pick quite a few that weren't all the way ripe at the top, but these are still going to be good. So now that I harvested everything I could, let's go up to the house and put these guys away for the future. All right, well, we're inside now, and step one is prepping of our strawberries. We're going to use part of these for freezing and part of them for dehydration. So first up, we're going to prep them for freezing. So I like to remove the caps and any part of the stems. And if you buy them from the store or you don't know where they've been raised, you want to make sure that you rinse them because there could be pesticides or who knows what else. But since mine are grown in my hydroponic greenhouse without anything on them, I don't have to do that part. But if you do rinse them, make sure you pat them dry because you don't want any water on them to have any ice crystals when you freeze them because that'll degrade the texture. And you want to freeze them at 0 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 18 Celsius, and that stops any bacterial activity and preserves the quality. So I'm using fully ripe berries, and the trick is to flash freeze these as fast as possible. So you want to put them on a cookie sheet lined with parchment paper because that keeps them from sticking together, and you want to make sure that they don't touch each other because otherwise you'll have a big glob. So I'm just going to cut these off. Like I said, make sure none of them are touching together. Oops, there's a little leaf on there. And once they flash freeze, they'll be easy to get apart. Because I've had them where they all touch each other and they just become one big clog and you can't use them for your smoothies in the future. It's just like one big brick of strawberries. So I'm going to continue cutting these up and I'm going to take them out to the freezer so they can do their flash freezing. So as I'm cutting off the tops, I put them in a bowl because these are going to go out to the ladies. The chickens love the strawberries. They eat all the greens and any part of the strawberry. It's like a little treat for them. Now that I have them all lined up on the cookie sheet, it's time to pop them into the freezer.
Here you go.
We'll freeze them until solid, about 2 to 4 hours, depending on what size they are. Then we'll transfer to freezer bags. When we bag them, we'll label them and date them and remove as much air as possible. That keeps the flavor fresh longer. Some sources say up to 8 to 12 months of good quality when stored properly. And I've had mine for almost 2 years and they've still been really fresh and tasty. Now these strawberries, they were in the freezer for 3 hours. And now that they're solid, I'm going to pull them off the sheet and drop them into the freezer Ziplock bags, in smaller portions. This way I can grab a handful for a smoothie or a cup for baking without thawing the entire bag. So first thing I like to do is put the date on the bag. As I learned many years ago, if you don't date something, you can't remember when you put it in there. And I like to use the gallon bags. See, look how easy these guys come apart. And they'll stay in the bag like this, and I'll pop them immediately back in the freezer so they don't thaw at all. And like I said, I'll be able to grab a handful for a smoothie or use them for baking all winter long. Yeah, do this quickly. So over here a little bit. Hopefully I can get them all into one bag. That's my goal. That one's really cool. I don't know, it's going to be close. What do you guys think? Think it'll fit? Okay. So I'm going to start zipping it up. And I like to lay it on the side. Try to get it a little bit flat and get as much air as possible out of the bag. Oops. Hang on. There we go. Now it's ready to pop back into the freezer. And now for our second preservation method. It's dehydrating. And we're using the berries, and I'm going to cut them into nice little 1/4-inch slices. And they're going to be great for snacks, put in a trail mix, and add to oatmeal. Just like I did when I was freezing, the first thing I need to do is take off the cap. And then I slice the strawberry into uniform 1/4-inch slices. And if there's anything left at the end, that's mine to eat. And the reason you want them uniform is so they dehydrate evenly. So when you're dehydrating, the reason you want to have them sliced evenly is that if you do the whole berry, you're going to have dry spots and wet spots, and then the fruit will go bad. It's really important when you're arranging your slices on the drying rack that you don't have them touch, because you want to make sure you have good airflow around them. That's the key to drying. I wish you guys were here and could smell these strawberries. They just smell amazing if you like strawberries. And I know some of my pieces are a little bit on the small side, but they're still going to be good for trail mix and snacking. Well, I set the dehydrator up behind me. This is the last tray to go in. And I'm going to set it for 135 degrees. And I'm going to plan about 8 to 10 hours until they're dry. And if you like them leathery, a little less time. If you like them crispy, maybe a little bit more time, just depending on your preference. And once they're done, I let them cool and then I store them in an airtight container. Well, it's the next day. Set the dehydrators these guys all sell for 8.5 hours and went off in the middle of the night. So I wanted to pull these out so I can show you what they look like. I already pulled out a few trays and have them set aside. But look how nice those look. Let me get the other tray out. Next thing I need to do is pop them off the tray and get them ready for storage. As I was taking the strawberries off the tray, some of the thinner ones stuck a little bit. So I think next time I'm going to cut them a little bit thicker, and I may rub a little bit of beef tallow on the screen. That'll make the removal so much easier. But I got these guys all loose. Oop, this guy's still a little stuck, but look how nice they look. And my favorite method to store these, you could put them in plastic bags or Ziplock bags and put them in the refrigerator, but I like to use a glass jar. Just for some reason, I just think it lasts better. And you could put one of the metal bands on the lid on it if I have these nice plastic ones that screw on nice and tight. And these will keep them airtight and these will last quite a while. And another little trick I learned is I put a piece of Scotch tape across it and then I can write the date and I don't mess up the jar. I forgot to tell you guys the most important part. These little chips are strawberry flavored times 10 and so sweet. Now it looks like I picked the right size jar for the strawberries. And this was 5 pounds of fresh strawberries dehydrated down to 1 quart jar. I don't know how long these are going to last here at the house because they do taste so good. And they're going to be excellent in oatmeal and yogurt. And just as a little snack when you can just pop it in your mouth. And I'm going to store it in the cupboard where it's nice and cool and dark. And they'll probably last a couple months. So another way you can store these if you want to keep them longer is you can get the ball attachment for the vacuum packer and vacuum pack them and they'll last a year or so. But for us, it's not worth the time and effort to do that because we eat these up so fast. So that's our full process. Harvest in the high tunnel, freeze them, dehydrate them, and store for future deliciousness. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, tap subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next one. And drop a comment. Tell us how you like to preserve your strawberries or ask a question and we'll answer them. And the next thing going in for dehydration is basil. If you'd like to see more on dehydrating herbs, just drop me a line and we'll put a video up there. And thanks for watching Bradwood Farm's Homegrown Passion, and we'll see you guys next time.